Hi friends, thank you so much for being here. So today I'm going to do a tutorial on how I build up my page from scratch. Now this is a gorgeous sketchbook that I picked up. I think it was from Portugal and I just love the cover of it, so I picked it up. Anyways, so let's open it up and just start off with this white space right here. Now I've put some paints on my palette off to the side, and the first color I'm going to add is red. And this is a red by Blick. It's a matte acrylic and it's called Red Deep, and it's actually very reasonably priced. And it's a really, really luscious red, as you can see. It's just gorgeous. So what I'm doing is just making some marks, making some patterns, and I go for circles usually because I'm partial to them. And they just bring a nice flow to the page. And I'm just kind of playing around and having fun. And I'm adding some pink over here into the middle of the circle. And some yellow. And I love that when I mix the yellow and the red together. That's just so beautiful. So a couple of videos back, I talked about our visual language. And so if you look at all of your pages, your art, your paintings, you will start to see patterns of your own visual language. And then from there, you can take that, which is your own very own blueprint for how you paint and how you tell your story, and then you can make those sorts of marks. So when I take a class, what I do is at first I do everything that the instructor is teaching me, and I follow everything to the T. And then what I do is after that, after I've learned the lesson of whatever I was being taught, I take that and I make it my own. So I add my own spin to it. Still using the same techniques that I was taught, but I will just do it in my own way. So I hope that when you see these techniques, you will find a way to make them your own. And that way you can develop your own visual language, or strengthen your visual language, or expand your visual language, but always being true to yourself and using what comes from your life and your experiences and your heart and your soul, and then putting that on the page. So as you can see, I'm just playing, I'm just having fun. And this is so meditative, just moving the paintbrush across the page. So this is a very hot page so far. There are no cools on it whatsoever. And I think I'm gonna have to add some cools here. But for now, I'm just enjoying the hot page, which is also a hot mess, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some of my Liquitex transparent burnt sienna and its ink, and I'm just going to drop it into there and just see what that does when I add some water to it. So I really am loving that. it just really deepens the color. Oh, I love that. And I'm going to add some of that onto the page there. So now I'm going to use my Posca marker, and this is a thick one. It's not a small one. So I'm just going to make some marks over here. And I think I want some yellow on the page. So I'm just going to add some of this yellow right here. Let's bring some of that yellow over here. So I have my trusty blue Stabilo pencil here, and I'm just going to dip it in some water, and I'm going to start making some marks. So because it's on the yellow, it's going to turn green, but it's still cool. So I need to add some cools to the page. So I'm just kind of making some marks over there. And every page, I think, goes through an ugly phase, and that is totally normal and understandable. And it's actually, I've come to not only expect it, but I've come to actually welcome it, because to me, the ugly page means that I'm actually stepping beyond my comfort zone. I'm doing things that don't really make sense, and I'm just playing and experimenting, which is what these first layers are all about. So it means that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is just creating without thinking of the end product and the image and what it looks like. I'm just playing around and experimenting, and that is a good thing. So in the beginning, I would just dread when everything got really messy, and I just would try to get out of the messiness, but it really didn't help my process at all. It actually hindered me, because then I became too stilted, and everything was too tight. And then all my work just ended up looking the same. So that was not very good, but it was a good learning lesson for me. So now I love it when things get messy and unpredictable. So as you can see, everything's just a big mess over here. So I'm going to get out my viewfinder, and I'm going to start looking at things that I like and that I want to keep. So I'm really liking that over there. And I'm really loving this pop of pink here. And I love that as well. And I'm actually really liking a lot of different components of this page. So what I am going to do now is I'm not going to use my heating tool, because I don't want to flatten out the colors. And what I am going to do is add some of my Waverly chalk paint in Cashew. And what that's going to do is I'm just going to bring, like, lighten up some of the areas. So I still want the yellow. I just want a light yellow. So the great thing about mixed media is everything can be covered up. And a long time ago, I took a lot of watercolor classes, and classic watercolor is very, very stilted in the sense of everything has to be planned because you have to save all your whites, you have to save certain parts of the painting. It's not like mixed media where you can just cover everything up. And as much as there were parts of it that I really admired and really loved doing, it was just very, very, I don't know what the word is. It just didn't go with my kind of personality, I guess, or my way of working, because you just had to save everything. And it was almost like you had to do so much planning that when it came time to do the painting, a lot of it was very methodical, I guess. And so it didn't allow for as much spontaneity and playfulness as mixed media does. Now, I still love using watercolor, and this was about 25, 30 years ago, and maybe watercolor has changed a lot in the sense that maybe there's more looser kind of watercolors and more experimental type of watercolors. But traditional watercolor is very, very pre-planned. Everything is so methodical. And I mean, I've seen gorgeous watercolors that I really love, but for me to do it, it was really tedious. So I really love mixed media because there's just so much unpredictability and experimentation, and I just never know what's going to happen. And I just love that aspect of it. But, everybody is different, and people are suited for different things. So that's just my kind of take on it. And I really love how this red over here, I mixed it in with this yellow and the cashew, and I really love that color, how it's really kind of blending in there. So now what I'm going to do is add some collage. And I have a stash of collage right here. And so this is my collage stash that I have. And I think I am going to, these are pieces of my own art that I have kind of like just cut up into pieces to use for collage. It was probably a painting that I didn't like, or see, I was probably doing a class or experiments or something, and I just cut out pieces. So this is my own art, and that's a great thing to do with your backgrounds and pieces of art that you have that you don't want to use. You can just cut them up and use them as collage. It's a great way to add your own collage into your work. So I think what I'm going to do for this is I'm gonna just pick some random papers here. This is handmade paper from India, I think. And this is a children's book that belonged to my daughter when she was younger. And every so often I'll look through her books, and whatever she doesn't want, I'll see if I can use them for my art. And I really love this particular book because not only is it not glossy, but it's really high quality paper. And I love the marks on here. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful, like, look at that. It's just such beautiful marks. So I think I'm gonna use that for now. And let me see if there's anything else here that kind of speaks to me. I think that's it for now. So I also have this paper here, which I might use. So let's see what we can come up with. So what I'm going to do is, now the great thing about collage is you can just move it around, see what, nothing is, well, with mixed media, nothing is permanent anyways, but collage, you can just move things around, see what you like. And so I think I'm going to put this over here. Okay. And I had some paint on my paintbrush anyway, so it just kind of came out onto the paper. So that's fine. It integrates really well onto the page there. And I think I am going to put this over here, maybe like that. So basically, I took a class a long time ago, and the teacher said that painting is basically a series of choices. Like, if I put one color down or one mark down, it changes the whole entire page. And so basically, painting is a series of choices that you make with each mark, each color choice, each texture or line or pattern. And it's basically you're pushing and you're pulling, because sometimes you're pushing things into the background and then you are pulling things forward. And that's what painting is. It's just a series of choices. And I thought that was a really interesting way to explain painting, because I find that it is true to a large degree. It's all the choices that we continually make. So when I look at it that way, I'm not so stressed out, I guess, about, oh, what is this going to look like? And oh, my painting is now going through an ugly phase. Oh my God, or I need to figure out where this painting is going. What is this painting want to say? All of those things, I kind of just forget about them because I'm like, oh, painting is just a series of choices. Okay, that makes sense. So in that way, it just helped me a lot. So now I'm going to add some of this gorgeous paper right here. I really love this green and gold, and it's really going to add some interest to the page. So I really like it over there. And I think I'm going to, let's see here, there. I think I'm going to put it right here. Now, another thing before I forget is never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, apply a heating tool to any kind of glue, whether it's Mod Podge or a glue stick or any kind of artist quality glue, because it will turn into a huge, huge mess. And there's just no way to kind of rescue it. You're just going to have to kind of just pull the pages out and call it a day, because glue and a heating tool don't go together. And I honestly don't even think you could like put it out in the sun. If you are working with a glue stick and you expose it to the sun, I've never tried that, but I did try a heating tool with glue many, many years ago, and it was a big mess. So just a little tip. And so see, I'm just building up my page, and let me see where I want that to go. And I want a small piece. This is not a very big book, so I'm gonna have to use my space wisely. And I think like you can double layer collage too. So this is a piece of collage right there, and then I'm just gonna add this paper here, and I really like that. So you can, you know, add collage on top of collage as well. And okay, so now what I'm gonna do, because I'm not gonna use my heating gun on this glue stick right here, I am gonna just take a regular pencil. This is a, no, this is my Stabilo. I'm gonna take a regular pencil, and I'm just gonna kind of make some marks just for interest. I'm just gonna add some marks there. And this is just an HB pencil. So just mark making. And that's a great thing about mixed media, is you can just use whatever. I love that. I just absolutely love that about mixed media. It's just the sheer choice of supplies that you have, and you can mix in different ways. I really love that. And just kind of make some lines over there. It's not taking well on the glue, so maybe I can't do it there until later. So just building interest, just adding layers, and I am going to get my viewfinder out again and kind of see what I like. Oh, I'm really loving that. See, that's simple. That's a very simple thing, just adding some pencil lines onto the page, but I really love the way that really adds so much interest to the page right there. So I'm really loving where this page is going, and just keep on building layers. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just adding more and more things, and more and more layers, and see what I like, see what I don't like. Just it's a constant assessing. Okay, do I want to keep this? Do I want to get rid of this? Let me see. I'm really loving this green, but now I don't think I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so I think I want to integrate some of this red. I want to integrate this collage onto the page by using this red and just kind of like pushing it back a bit. And So normally I'm listening to some music or a podcast or something like that. So when I go quiet for a while, it's like I'm actually forgetting that I'm actually making a video. So I'm sorry for my quiet. I'm probably just in my own little world here. But that's basically what painting is. It just allows me to just kind of go into my own world and just create. I love it. It's time just flies when I'm doing this. And so I'm just kind of moving some paint around here. And now there are some parts that I'm not really liking, but I'm just going to keep on working it. I'm going to add, okay, this is my blue Stabilo again. So let me see if I can add some lines here. Okay. So the thing about this Stabilo is it can go on anything. It can go on plastic, metal, paper, glass, and I think glue, because the pencil couldn't go onto this glue right here, the Mod Podge, but this Stabilo can go onto anything. So I'm just making some marks here. The tip kind of broke off, so I'm going to use it like that. Just make some juicy marks, like organic marks. So I'm just going to keep on building up my page. And I think I want to add some grays onto the page, because when there's so much bright color, the eye really needs a resting place when I'm looking at it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of gray. Let me see if I can add some gray over there. And with just these two colors, this is the Waverly chalk paint, the Cashew, and the ink, which is a really rich black, you can get an infinite array of grays. You can just mix them up in different like proportions, and then you can get a light gray all the way to a black gray. And see, now it's making the brights pop a little bit more, because by contrast, and plus you know you really need neutrals in your painting. So I'm gonna kind of go like that. And okay. So let me see now with my viewfinder what is going on here. Okay, I'm really loving that part over there. And I like that. I'm really liking that. Not liking this part so much over here. Loving that, like that. Okay, So it's just giving me an idea of what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. So okay, so now I'm going to turn it back around like so, and bring in my pencil again and just make some marks, see what kind of pops. Let's see. Like I said, this is a small page, so it doesn't give me a whole lot to work with, but okay. I'm going to add some of this Liquitex over here, and here, and here. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to let this completely dry. And while it is drying, I just wanted to show you guys. This is a Strathmore mixed media art journal, I do believe, and it was probably about $25 to $35 at I think I got it from Amazon or Blick. So it's a really great mixed media art journal, and I really love it. But so say a page like this, for instance, I still begin that page with this kind of thing going on. And then when I go to draw my figure, some of it is retained, and then some of it, a lot of it gets covered up. So as you can see, like I put this blue and this white creamy color up top, and even over here there's solid blocks of color, but all my pages pretty much begin like this. So whatever it turns out to be in the end, it still begins in this way, which is just very organic, very messy. I don't know what, and this is a page that is, in progress, but it all starts off with a very organic kind of a feel to it. So that's my starting from scratch art journal page. I hope you got something from this, and thank you so much for watching till the end, and we'll see you next time. Bye.